Let's do it live on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you doing, buddy? Nice, good, living.
You know, got a
day
case
here.
Everybody's got a case of the Mondays. You know what I mean?
I really do. I was telling you off air.
I know you do.
Brutal.
Gibbe's got a case of the Mondays. I heard earlier today even Griff was giving Uno a little bit of the business. So
I think it's the and we've got people in the building, and so we can get rid of the reportedlys. I think it's the
hooray!
What a wonderful time.
That was the word of January.
Was hooray or reportedly?
Reportedly.
Yeah. That we should get hoodies that just say reportedly.
Hashtag reportedly.
Hashtag reportedly.
Yeah.
I do think that the kind of the no football this weekend, we had been on such a heater with the playoffs, and you had these things to look forward to, and they were there. And I know that there was a Pro Bowl game. I know our guys participated. It was farcical.
I can't even, you know what I think is crazy?
Yeah.
You can't even get anyone, if somebody can find it online, send it to me, please. I'm curious. You can't even find a box score for this flag football game. Like, who
That's
scored
true.
the touchdowns?
No idea.
I know Denzel got a pick. Saw that. Way to go.
Fantastic, I guess, yeah.
I want give me all the facts.
Yeah,
there were
how
a
would you
billion
even put him
picks.
into context? Wasn't Baker the offensive MVP?
Was he?
I think so, yeah.
Everything I read was talking about C.J. Stroud.
Well, everything I saw was C.J. Stroud with that rollout back, throw to across
Didn't
the
the
body
AFC,
to
though,
Jamar.
technically win the flag football game?
So the NFC won the whole thing, but the AFC, I think, won the flag football.
I don't understand. They won the whole thing. What do you mean? Like
So
They
all
add
of
up all the
those-
points from the skills.
Skills, yeah.
And all
But
of
Baker
We
was the
live in-
MVP because the NFC won the whole competition. So
We-
Stroud wasn't eligible.
We continue to.
He's the best player in the NFL then.
He is. We continue to live in the United States of America. If a game is played, the result has to matter.
That's right.
We don't need to do this stacking point total. Don't make this harder than it is. You're going to play a flag game, fine. Play a flag game, but make it count. Just have it,
What they're
that's it.
saying
Winner
is
wins.
the way that they're doing
Cumulative.
it is that the flag game is basically like the singles rounds of the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Sel. I bet they still did about $6 million though. From an audience standpoint.
They didn't get me.
No, me either. Did not get me. Well, this is pretty interesting on a quick breaking news front. Bill O'Brien, who was previously the head coach of the Houston Texans and within the last 2 weeks hired as offensive coordinator at Ohio State, reportedly is going to become the next head coach at Boston College. So Jeff Hafley, who was here and was an Ohio State defensive coordinator, is and then was just recently hired to be the Packers defensive coordinator. So we had that tie-in. And now Bill O'Brien, who was with the Texans, obviously, Penn State before that, last 2 weeks hired as offensive coordinator at Ohio State. And now he will be the head coach at Boston College. So that job opened up for Hafley, and now he's going there. So that's quick. That just happened in the last couple minutes.
I would say that was is that one of the shorter stints anybody's had?
2 weeks?
Yeah.
He didn't even get introduced.
So did they?
We at least had
did
that
they know
today.
this was coming?
They confirmed that he was hired, like within a day or two of him being hired, but there has been no press conference involving him.
Interesting. So he was he reportedly?
No, he
No,
was.
it was official.
There was an official
He was official.
hired,
Okay.
and now they'll
Yeah.
have to find somebody else. So there you go.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that one, I promise you nobody down there saw that one coming. The hot topics of the day presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Well, we can get rid of the reportedly here.
Yes.
Ken Dorsey is your offensive coordinator. Tommy Reese is your tight ends pass game specialist. Jacques Cesar is your defensive line coach. Cesar is your defensive line coach. And then Deuce Staley is your running back coach. And we also had the acknowledgement that Callahan is going to go coach with his son, so that happened as well. Here is Coach. This was from his press conference along with Ken's earlier today.
Okay, going to introduce Ken Dorsey here in a second.
Don.
I just want to address some of the changes we've made to the offensive staff and, talk through that. I'm really proud of the things that we've accomplished the last 4 years, and I just want to address T.C. McCartney, Stump Mitchell, huge parts of that success. We did a lot of really good things over the last 4 years together, and I'm proud of that, and they're big parts of that. Alex Van Pelt, you guys know how I feel about AVP, the person, the coach. Very, very happy for him to be able to run that offense in New England. I know he'll do a great job. Bill Callahan, very unique situation there to go work for Brian, not with Brian. He's going to work for Brian. I can't wait for Brian to boss him around. The dream of every kid is to boss their parents around. So happy for those guys. Again, I think organizationally we realize that's a unique situation, and did not want to stand in the way of that. And so excited for certainly Brian and Bill down there. When we made this decision very early on, Ken was a guy that we identified that could help me, be an integral part of this offense. And Ken and I have known each other a little while. We've kind of come up in this profession together, if you will. Just watching Ken in college, in the pros, having success as a player, having success as a coach. He really fits who we are culturally. He's a family man. His daughters are very important to everything he's doing. He's been in, I think, how many volleyball games this weekend? Yeah, quite a few. So, but a really a smart person who fits us from a culture standpoint, just has had a ton of success really every stop along the way, and really pleased to add Ken to this group. Play calling, which I know everybody wants to talk about, we'll get there. It's February 5th. What's most important, what I'm looking forward to the most, is putting this offense back together with Ken, really leading the charge, and that's why he's here, and really pleased to have him here.
All right, there you go. There's Coach on Ken, and you go one-on-one with Ken coming up at 2 o'clock.
That's right. Very exciting.
We get
very
that.
very nice guy. Seems very thoughtful. Obviously, we know he's a fiery competitor as well. Thrilled to be back here, and I think that he's going to bring a lot of things to this offense that we are looking for with Deshaun Watson, and I think we have an opportunity to really be a unique offense in the sense that we can play that kind of Shanahan, Kubiak, Stefanski style, but also play that spread RPO style. So you're going to have things that you've seen with the Chiefs, things that you've seen with the Bills, integrated into what you're used to seeing here with the Cleveland Browns. So I think that could be pretty cool.
As for, we've talked about the rest of these over the last 2 weeks, because there's been multiple.
We never really got into them though, because we were just kind of reportedly in them. But we know about them.
Yeah. So Ken, you'll talk about a little bit later.
Yep.
And Coach was asked directly about the play calling, and that's going to sort itself out, he said. But that it's early on in that process. Did you ask Ken about how that would go? What preview can you give us on his thoughts on how what he can bring to the table here?
Well, he's going to be – he is going to bring kind of that different perspective, different offensive style to the mix that we have not seen in the past here with, this under this Kevin Stefanski regime. So definitely a little bit more of that spread, definitely more RPOs, dual threat, things about quarterback runs, shotgun, being able to create vertical threats. If you think about the Browns the last few years, our shot plays, for the most part, and I'd say the vast majority, come off of play action.
Yeah.
He's very well versed. If you watch Buffalo, there are plenty of times that they're pushing the ball down the field without any play action, just a straight drop back. So I think you're going to get a little bit more of that in the mix. As for plays, he was asked in his presser about calling plays, and he doesn't care. He's like, I just want to win. Kevin's a great play caller. I've called plays at a high level. The one year that he was the full-time play caller in Buffalo, they were number 2 in points and number 2 in yards. So he gets it. He gets it. I think he's going to be. I think his background / skill set, or the things and the types of quarterbacks he's worked with, should lend themselves to success for Deshaun Watson, and that's at the end of the day what this is all about. There's some tall humans out there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was like if this was like, is this like if you were to tell me that's the Cavs G League team, I'd go, yeah, okay.
They had a logo on that kind of looked like a.
That you're 6'9"ish, right?
Easy.
Right?
Easy.
Maybe 10.
Easy.
And everyone else looks to be in the 6'5",
6'4",
6'5", your height situation.
It
it looks like there's a guard.
It's the Sacramento Kings. Are the Kings in town?
Maybe the Kings are in town. Are they?
They are tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Kings.
There you go.
That's a Kings.
So we're not morons.
No.
I'm going.
No.
These are abnormally large humans.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
That had the look of the association.
There were some.
This one guy
kind
of looks like a young Joe Flacco. Honestly, the 6'9" guy looks like he could be.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's college nephew. Or pro, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going. This.
No. Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
All right. So
All
we
right.
had that. That's
So
a
we
good
got
job
it.
out of us. We
Great
can
job out of
identify
us.
elite athletes just by walking in.
That's right.
We can sort those through those things.
Yeah.
Tommy Reese coming in as tight ends coach and pass game specialist. Just firsthand from my buddy Laurinaitis, who was over at Notre Dame for a year, could not have spoken more highly about Tommy's ability to game plan, his rhythm for play calling, and his offensive mind, so much so that Nick Saban stole him from Notre Dame to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama last year, and they adjusted on the fly. They started a couple different quarterbacks and ended up making a hell of a run with Jalen Milroe, who played very well for them down the stretch, and Tommy was at the center of that.
Yeah, and a lot of those things are very much spread, dual threat quarterback stuff as well. And Tommy Rees obviously was very, very effective. It's amazing. I think he's only 31.
Very young. Yeah. Very young. I don't know the year exactly, but very young.
Something like that.
Early 30s at best.
Yes, which is incredible. But, yeah, in his 3 years as Notre Dame's offensive coordinator, the team averaged more than 30 points per game, advanced to the playoffs in 2020 after that undefeated regular season. So, obviously, JOK would be familiar with him. Also played quarterback at Notre Dame, finishing second in school history in touchdown passes and third in passing yards. Stefanski said, Tommy has established himself as one of the top assistant coaches in college football, and I have no doubt that will transition to the NFL. He has an incredible football acumen, and I look forward to bringing his insight and unique perspective from top college programs to our offense.
It's interesting how that line between college and the NFL is more blurred
than ever.
20 years ago, it was kind of hard line. Like, you're an NFL offensive coordinator, you're a college offensive coordinator. You kind of just stayed in that world. Now the crossover happens all the time. Monken, obviously, at the highest level.
Well, there were just a few coordinators then that ran what you would call pro-style offenses, right?
Correct.
So those are the teams that, and then, it used to be you needed 3 years for a player, a receiver to be able to be good. No, now the NFL is using a lot of the stuff that you see in college. And so NFL teams that have quarterbacks like ours that have, talent out wide want to find ways to get their players the ball in space and make things as easy for their quarterback as possible. And so you want to incorporate some of those concepts. So that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. So he will. That's another really bright mind in that offensive room and into that pass game room, and all with the idea. I think it's fair to say is for us to be more consistently explosive and to be more varied. It was a lot of chief. To your point, it was a lot of play action. It's a lot of chief. Some Amari hits, but one of the things that we lamented was we did not get those hits that we thought we were going to hit. For example, at a good one, we didn't get those consistently, and even the Elijah Moore big plays that we were hoping would happen, we didn't get those consistently. So my hunch is that's what all of this kind of probably is about.
Absolutely.
All right. Staying on the offensive side of things, you want some fire, you're going to get it. Deuce Staley, we remember that from Hard Knocks. He was certainly one of the stars of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, he was giving DeAndre Swift a little bit of the business in Hard Knocks. Most certainly. 25 years of experience, 10 as a player, 15 as a coach, won a Super Bowl as both a player and a coach. Was in Carolina last year, Detroit the 2 years prior to that, and then 10 seasons in Philadelphia. He's been very successful. His running backs have been very successful in the league. And as Stefanski said, Deuce was a tough, hard-nosed running back in this league, brings that mindset and energy to his coaching style that is needed in the running backs room. He knows how to get the most out of his players and has worked with some of the best running backs in the NFL. We're excited to have him lead our running backs. And, probably the best running back that you would know that he worked with was LaShawn McCoy, who was 5 times a All-Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro under Staley's coaching with the Eagles there in the mid-2010s.
Gosh, that's right. Shady was a dude for a while there.
Yeah.
He was really first-team All-Pro that took me by,
Yeah, 5 straight Pro Bowls and a first-team All-Pro in there. Yeah, LaShawn McCoy was legit.
He certainly was. And then Jacques Cesar, it comes in on the defensive line as well. That's official now as well.
Yeah, Jacques Cesar, and I like this one because what he has done – Ben Bloom, and it sounds like still going to stay in the organization, which makes me very happy. I love Ben Bloom.
Yeah.
Jacques Cesar has been able to get players to play their best at any point in their career under him. Think about Jonathan Grenard last year. Think about what Will Anderson was able to come in as a rookie and do. So I think he's been pretty good. He was with Buffalo for 2 years prior to that, so obviously he'd have familiarity with Dorsey, and then he was with the Houston Texans the last 2 seasons as the D-line coach and did a good job there. At one point, when we played the Texans, they were one of the few teams that had 4 players that had 6 or more sacks across their defensive line. It was all 4 starters had 6 or more. Then Derek Barnett came there. Remember him? He's somebody that I think the Browns should look at this offseason because he and Cesar got the best. He was dominant for them, actually.
Yeah.
And he was a former first-round pick. It never really worked out. So he's somebody that, you might see the Browns bring in as kind of another rotational piece in that defensive end room because they worked well together. He's got to know Wilhelm's got to know him, right, Gibbe? I mean, he played for the Chargers from 2003 to 2011.
Yeah, that'd be Wilhelm.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Right in the wheel.
Totally.
In fact, yeah, probably exactly match up because Wilhelm would be 03 would have been his first year.
I'll have to reach out to him.
Won the title in 02.
Jacques brings energy and a proven track record as both a player and a coach in this league. He has made an impact felt in every place he has been. We know he will come in and work to increase an already high standard for our defensive line, said Kevin Stefanski.
There you go. So those are all officials. We are still looking for an offensive line coach. So
yeah, they talked about that a little bit in the presser today and saying that, there aren't Bill Callahans out there, so we've got to be very intentional and find, the right person to bring into that role to be able to try to maintain the standard of excellence that we've gotten. And I know there are a lot of guys in that room were very bummed out about the news. I mean, everybody gets it.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't think there was one person in the building that was happy that that's ultimately where it ended up.
No, I mean, you can blame Brian. He interviewed so well down there that they didn't let him out of the building, and they hired him that day. I did see, people clamoring for the Hoff to be offensive line coach, and I think Hoff actually gave a quote to Mary Kay about this on Friday or Saturday evening. One of the days he gave a quote. I didn't even see the quote, but if you listen to the Hoff on this show, come on.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's not grinding.
No, I didn't really understand. It was almost.
No. Come on.
The article was he answers the question, and then you click on it, and I'm pretty sure it was I'm good.
No kidding.
Things are great.
He's got a beef ranch. He's got a beef outfit. He's in Germany right now. He's got little kids.
Mission barbecue.
He's got 1,000 things.
There is
1,000 irons in the fire.
There is a better chance that Griff is our next offensive line coach than there is that the Hoff is.
Yeah, you're right. Because he's at least available. He's available.
He's available. He would. Griff,
take
you'd
the
take
job.
that. You would if that. You
Got
take
a fresh
it right.
cut?
You would take it if the fresh helmet.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Got to grab the player. I want you to grab a player by his helmet and just get him close and give him a good chewing out.
Well, he could already do the team building exercise at the bowling alley to give himself some credibility. It's kind of
maybe win a few extra bucks.
That's right. Say, oh yeah, let's go bowling. I don't know. Do you guys like to bowl? Everybody likes to bowl. Then you go play and then you dominate.
Why does everyone put in $100 a guy?
A couple of bucks here and there. Who gets
best
hurt?
Ball?
Who gets hurt?
Nobody.
That's it. We do have a winner of the CBD Brownie Best Game Award. It was decisive. Ravens game beat the Jets 65% to 35%. Beat down.
I think it's because I'll say it.
You think it's because of Deshaun?
I think the Jets game should have won this. I think the Jets game was the best game of that year. That Ravens game, number one, it's the Ravens.
That's the big part.
A hated rival, who's also a very, very good team, was the number one seed in the AFC. And that was the best. That's what Deshaun Watson, when you signed him, that's the game that you envisioned taking place. And so I think that was the momentum that carried that three-pronged like a trident.
Yeah, there were three varying I was surprised it was this lopsided. To me, it was the Jets game. When I think of this season, that's what I think of is that. Because I know there were three tranches in the season, but the one that provided the most joy was the last. The most joy.
Yes.
And the fact it was honestly just more recent, too, significantly. So they got whipped.
It was something that had not happened in forever.
Yeah.
In this town, and it was a cultural moment.
You were out and about with the Hoff.
Out and about with the Hoff
all night, closing the town,
painting the town red, or in this case, painting the town orange.
Did you have? Speaking of things I did not have, much like I did not have Tommy Reese being on the staff a year ago. If you'd have asked me when he was moving on to Alabama, that he'd be coaching in the Browns a year later. I did not also have that. The number one thing this morning trending was a song that I haven't thought about much since I was probably in 5th grade or something like that.
Okay.
I'll never forget this. Art class, it definitely was elementary school. Miss Simser brought in the CD, the Tracy Chapman
Fast Car.
She brought it in and played it in art class, and I'll never forget hearing it. I had no idea who Tracy Chapman was, didn't know anything, didn't have MTV, so I had no point of reference, just heard the song, and then it became a big hit then, and then it disappeared for 30-some years.
She hadn't performed it in
years.
Yeah.
So this morning when I wake up and I see her and Luke Combs at the Grammys, the joy on her face when the audience realizes it's her and she still throws like 110.
Our voice is awesome.
Perfect.
So that song was a big TikTok song. So my kids knew
so
about
even
it from
before
TikTok.
before Combs covered it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a big for whatever. Like my kids knew from TikTok.
Crazy.
So it's
Cleveland's own, by the way.
Tracy Chapman's Cleveland.
Yeah.
didn't
So
know
about that?
when
I
I was
didn't
an
know that.
intern at Q104 when I first started, and then I was running the board overnights, like her family would call and request the song.
Come
and I was
on.
like, well, if you're like your family, I'll go ahead and put that to the front of the list.
That's amazing. I did
is
not know
amazing.
that. I did not know that.
Me
Yeah.
neither. I was
No.
unaware.
I was
Cleveland's
completely
own.
unaware. It speaks to that point that I've talked to you guys about before, how music has never been more timeless.
Yes.
There's no way to differentiate for a kid, your kids, my kids. 80's probably old enough to where she can differentiate or know eras, but like these kids that just say play a song, they have no idea when it's from. None.
No, well, and because a lot of it gets hot on TikTok or whatever, and then it becomes like it's new. They think it is
It
a new
is new.
song because
They-
it's
and
new
to
to
them
them.
it is.
It's new.
And they're
It's
not
new to me.
For you and I, like we're all old enough to remember going from like a record era to a tape era to a compact disc era to an iTunes era. All they know is on demand.
They don't even know the joy of the yellow Walkman.
They have no joy of the yellow Walkman.
The yellow
Which is
Walkman
joyful.
was-
That headset, the first ones that went like in your ear, the little buds that would stick. They didn't
was-
stick in long. I always thought that I would be able to like shoot hoops with it on. Never. As soon as you jumped, it was over. Like you could at best shoot free throws.
It was still awesome though.
It was great. Yeah,
Lock the cassette in there and you fold it over.
yeah, and away you go.
Play.
Yeah.
So you got to they don't even know about rewinding tapes
Nope,
to send
no,
them back to the Blockbuster.
No clue. No, it's all on demand. You watch whatever you want whenever you want to watch it. They don't even understand if something's not on one of the 17 streamers I have. They don't understand that now we have to buy it. Like find it on one of them. Pick one.
I mean, like the fact that there was only so many channels, even in our youth, if it wasn't on one of those channels and you had not gotten the hard cassette physically from Block, you were not watching that program. It was impossible.
Impossible to watch.
Impossible.
And if you did not watch it in real time, you couldn't watch it again. There's no way to go find it.
No.
Like if, in the old days, if this event happens last night with this collaboration, like if you didn't watch the Grammys last night, you didn't watch it. There might be a
That's
clip
right.
on the morning shows, but that was it. This morning, it was in every other on Twitter. It was every other one.
Yeah.
was that. So
That
was
and
very
Taylor
cool.
Swift breaking the internet by announcing a new album coming out in April.
Good for
That's
her.
the big takeaway.
Good
from
for
the
her.
Grammys.
So they crushed it. Didn't Joni Mitchell sing for the first time
She
in like
did.
forever?
It was pretty awesome.
I bet it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
she
she's
crushed.
had some pretty rough medical
Yeah.
issues, and it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, live music's still pretty great.
Darn right it is.
Yes, it
So
is.
so that's a win on all fronts. I'm not sure all of the viewing that took place last night was a win on all fronts. A little bit of a disappointing Sunday. We can get into that. We'll get into the Pro Bowl. Z's conversation exclusively with Ken Dorsey going to come up in the 2 o'clock hour. We're off and running a list of Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at James B. Beam Distilling Company. Nothing goes better with Knob Creek bourbon than a perfectly prepared steak. In fact, Knob Creek is offering a $20 rebate when you buy their bourbon plus a steak. You do it together separately or together, doesn't matter. Just upload a picture of your receipt to knobcreeksteakrebate.com, and they'll send you $20 to your Venmo account. Offer valid through April 30th, 2024. Must be 21 to participate. See full terms at knobcreekrebate.com. Knob Creek Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 50% alcohol by volume, 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. It's a good one. I had the Knob Creek 7-year-old rye over the weekend.
Oh, baby.
After I was involved in waiting. We were in Green at 7:30.
I don't even know where that is.
Just south of Akron. We were in Green at 7:30. Look at him.
Yes. That's right. The great Brad Melland, everybody. Yes.
There he is. There he is. I was there at 7:30.
That feels early.
Real early. That was a 6:15 wake up Sunday morning, which you're never really thrilled about, which is my normal wake up. But to do it on the weekend, I'm not crazy about it. Down there, 7:30. Played at 8. Played at 10:10. Beamsy played at 11. And then we had to wait around, and we're supposed to play at 2:20. And so we're waiting on this game, and we wait and wait and wait. And I get there at 2:20, and a 6th grade girls game is finishing up between, no names please, two Stark County rivals. And you would thought that maybe the state championship was on the line. It was pretty hotly contested. And the officials, God bless them, they were going to do everything in their power to call a clean game. And so when I walked into the gymnasium with 2 minutes and at around 2:20, there was 5 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game, period. The game ended at 3:05. They called 29 fouls in the second half of the game.
Why?
Everything that was a collision was a foul. Anytime, honestly, like it wasn't even that the referees, they really were that many fouls. Like it just was crazy. And then the coaches kept calling timeout. One guy's up 5 with 20 seconds left. I'm like, what are you doing? You're calling timeout?
You're going to win.
Just go stand at the other end. It's over. Just tell your girls to go stand at the other end. There's no way they can win. And they still damn near lost. Maddening. So, what was the point of all this?
I don't know. I think just an airing of the grievances.
Oh, why I had the beverage. And then all the practice reshuffling and games reshuffling and booking flights. So that's why I had the Knob Creek last night.
Just a few more weeks, buddy. And then it's lacrosse season.
But I don't coach that. Thank God. Thank God. Only so need a break. Let's do this right now, and then we'll get to the Micah Parsons stuff. So I was done with everything. So 6:15 wake up. I was off the clock at 9:45 at night. That's when I was first time that I didn't have an obligation that I had to tend to. Was at 9:45.
Day.
It's a full day, brother, full day. So I
similar to mine.
You and I had very different experiences. Your Sunday was very much what my Sundays were like with the blonde pre-children.
That's right.
That was it. Little brunch, afternoon cocktail. A lot of wins. Wins in the morning, wins in the evening. Nice show.
Wins
Who gets hurt?
Time. That's right.
Every time you'd want it to be. So I wanted to pour a little cocktail, take the edge off.
Deserved.
Don't normally do that on a Sunday, but it was required. And watch a little Curb. Final season, first episode.
We need to find the thing that we did this last year. I want to say
the winners and losers.
And we did we had a whole set of categories and all that.
That was who won the episode. That was the final one.
Yeah.
Line. I know there was a line. We'll have to get that. We'll do that for. Honestly, I wouldn't even want to do it for the one last one. Which had a couple of moments.
Had some good lines.
Couple
Leon
of good
had
lines.
A great line.
Leon had some good stuff. But I don't. Why is Maria Sophia or Sophia Maria?
Get her out of there. And why is she acting so?
Why is he bring it back?
By the
why
way,
did he bring her back? I don't know.
Remember we said what's a connection? We were talking about how you said you were surprised that Larry and I was like, it's got to be through Kimmel. And then guess who was on that episode?
He was
Kimmel. Let them use his show as a set piece.
Yeah, for her and her ascending
like,
star.
I just made it better. It was ad-libbed. Yeah, I just made things up. It was better.
Yeah. I never understood this. I never understood it last year.
I don't get it. I don't want her out. I liked her Corgi.
We only have like 10 hours left of him.
Yeah. Just give me
Susie, Jeff,
Larry, Leon. And I wouldn't even mind a CGI funk man.
Well, you do have Freddie Funkman at least, so like he's in the mix. He's not
Vince has
Funkman,
to
but
be in it. Yeah.
Vince will be in it a little bit, and Richard, you get Lewis in there a little bit, but like I don't need.
If Lewis in season 1 through, my opinion, if Lewis season 1 through 80, he's throwing about 12 miles an hour right now.
He is, but I'd rather have him than Sophia Maria or Maria Sophia, whoever she is. Give me 2 Lewis scenes over her.
100%.
Fine, I take it. There's no question.
Lewis was
Give
a
me
part
Ted
of
Danson.
By the way, I forgot shamefully because I also this weekend rewatched the ski lift.
Okay.
The ski lift also has the Mickey Mantle baseball that goes missing is also in the ski lift.
See, there's so many things colliding in those episodes. That's when that's like some of the
colliding and diverging.
Correct. That's like season like 4 through 6 of Seinfeld when there's so much going on
and it's all
connected and it's all bouncing
and it's all good.
It's all gold. Yeah. What did you feel? You and I kind of felt similarly, right? Like it was fine, but
I'd
it
have
wasn't.
given it a C.
Yeah. I was hoping it
it had no chance to be in the top 22 of my top 10, which was 22 episodes long.
No
chance.
No.
Too much yelling. Kind of unbelievable circumstances that he would be that upset about.
Yeah.
Like, if you dropped your glasses in a toilet that was clean, you'd pick your glasses up.
Of course you would.
And then you'd wash them off.
Yeah.
You
would.
would
Soap and water in the end.
Yeah. I do think that he was prejudged by the house cleaner when she first unfairly. And
she was very aggressive.
That made sense to me, but then very little after that did. Obviously, it was for the big payoff at the end is why he came up with the whole idea to get himself to Georgia.
But the South African guy, like the whole thing, I just didn't understand. That to me, like just you and Leon go to Georgia. Leon's from Atlanta. You guys go to Georgia.
How do we not have Leon on a night out in the town?
Exactly. Hobnob. Let Leon show you his Atlanta.
Yes.
That's your debut.
Yes.
And you can still get arrested. You still get everything that you want.
And get the photo.
Get the big photo. All of those things win. Just you and Leon take on Atlanta.
I found, and I thought this in season 11 too. Season 10, episode 1, the Happy New Year, which I rewatched this week, Heater, Elite. But even in last year, or 2 years ago, I guess it was when was the last one? 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
It took them a while. It took like one episode or two to go from playing Curb to like being Curb again.
Fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still great to have LD back in your life, and still some great heaters.
Jeff's hair color,
that was great. Susie's outfit was fantastic. Like they're great. All that's a win.
I am going to watch though. Did you see now they have a pod that you can watch?
I did.
That Susie and Jeff are doing after every episode. They're going to tell stories and talk about the episode.
That feels like
I'm going to enjoy that.
Yeah, that'll be a home run.
Yeah.
So where did this come from, Gibbe? This Micah Parsons coming at us? He's coming at us?
Yeah, there was some kind of Madden event with the Pro Bowlers over the weekend.
Okay.
So
and it was like I think it was a streaming event. I don't know exactly what medium this was on, but they got done. They were recapping, and I guess Chief was part of it.
Okay.
And Micah Parsons decided to take some liberties and call out the city, the team, and everything.
Oh, and team too, everything.
The Chief was not having any of it. If you got to listen real hard to the end of it too, because there's a lot going on.
The humans involved in this. Carissa Thompson is hosting this.
Yep.
It is Micah Parsons, Chief, and then Tyreek Hill.
Yep. There's a couple other guys that you can hear in the background just kind of yelling. But
all right. So here's the setup, and then this is what occurred.
Micah, how do you think he did in the first half?
I thought he did amazing. He made great adjustments. He obviously showed why Cleveland is Cleveland. And
That's a crazy shot.
What's that political?
David, you have an opportunity for a rebuttal here. Obviously, that first half didn't go the way you wanted.
It's cool. You
okay.
You understand one thing, And excuse my voice. It's gone. When the losses come with big bosses. Mm-hmm. One thing you got to understand is he said Cleveland's Cleveland, but we're both here. I mean, we're both playing this Madden game.
I think that's a shot.
So you got to make it make sense.
Any person who's reenacting Meek Mill lyrics is like, I can't take him serious. I mean,
but am I lying though?
Nah, you trying to be lyrical, but don't
not
even get
lyrical. I'm saying we're both fitting.
Lyrically, I'm supposed to represent.
He has a good point, bro. We all here.
So what are you saying? Cleveland.
Okay, fair enough.
You're up.
Dallas is Dallas.
Dallas is Dallas. Like, I guess there was.
I guess I don't understand he's from Harrisburg. Mike is. He's a Penn State kid. I don't understand the context.
Well, Micah was
What,
also.
what was the point of this? Were
They're
they
playing
arguing?
Madden.
They
I
were-
think they
so
were.
Oh, they're
was
playing Madden.
NFC versus AFC in Madden, and
Yes.
Micah Parsons kind of
Yeah,
dominated.
okay, so
David and
so
Njoku in
at a
Madden.
Madden event,
Yes.
they're playing Madden.
That's right.
And they're talking smack to each other.
They were
Yes.
recapping
Chiefs
what
playing
had
with
just
the
happened.
Browns. Parsons is playing with the Cowboys. Is that the setup?
No, it was Pro Bowl, I believe.
Yeah, so the NFC, it was Puka and Micah Parsons. We're playing with the NFC roster against David and Njoku.
So you can play
and
the
Tyreek.
actual Pro Bowl
Yeah.
game like
Yes.
with shoulder pads and all that, like a real
The
game.
NFC
Yes.
won, and I think
As
that was
opposed to
Micah
the flag
Parsons.
game?
Yeah.
He was like saying the Browns are the Browns, and
Cleveland is
Njoku was
Cleveland,
like,
yeah.
well, you're sitting right here next to me as well. You're not
in the Super Bowl.
getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're all sitting here.
Valid. Good point. So this is what happens when you play the game. Like you run your mouth, right? That's
right.
the idea?
It is the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Micah, your team is significantly underachieved, much like your quarterback and the quarterback before him. You bunch of scrubs.
When's
That's the whole reason it's in the rundown. So
You're
give me-
darn right it was.
When's
I
the-
heard it. I was like, this is going in.
When's the last time Dallas has gotten past the divisional round?
I believe the job stealer was
95?
probably still a quarterback.
Is 95 the last year they played in an NFC championship game?
That's what I'm asking.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Who
if
knows
they've done
looking
it.
it up.
So
If
then
they did it one
if
time
that's
with,
true,
like-
then they, since 1995, have not ever gotten further in the playoffs than have the Cleveland Browns.
They have won a round, which we've run around.
We've run a
So
round.
that's it.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The
I think you're
divisional
right.
round.
I don't think that they've played. Did Romo ever get to an NFC championship game?
1995 was the
So
last
that's what
one
I
that
said.
they made.
Yeah,
95.
so-
that's when they won the Super Bowl.
So
in
what's he
95.
talking about?
Exactly. This whole Dallas mystique.
By the way, didn't they get smoked this year in the playoffs?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? You shouldn't be talking at all.
Yeah.
I play for Dallas. Well, what have they done?
Is it? Do you give anybody a pass in a Madden situation? Like at that point, you just can talk reckless.
You can, but I think that why come at Cleveland? Why
I
not?
think he's coming in Chief, right?
Yeah, come at the Chiefs. Say
Come at
something
the
about the
Chief.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make fun of
Yeah.
the ability to play Madden.
I don't think
Fine.
don't want to go with the Chief though. I mean, like the guy
Oh,
played
no.
with a burnt face. So
yeah.
Mike is a full day, but like, come on, can't have that.
Not even going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. No,
right.
not. I think you're
No.
probably right on that. Not. All right. Well, that's fun.
It is fun.
I don't know.
No, I like it. I like it. I'm just. I didn't know that they were playing the Madden. Did you guys watch any of it this weekend? Anyone? Anyone?
No.
No.
Shockingly, my girlfriend told me she wanted to watch it. So any excuse to put football on, I
I don't
took
know.
the
So you're our
chance.
expert. What did you see?
I think more shockingly my girlfriend. You are betrothed. We had no idea. We didn't know you had significant other. Uno? Why
I
have we
thought
not
that was
discussed this?
knowledge.
Oh, no,
Z's
we knew
mentioned
this.
it to
I
me.
didn't know
yeah.
this. No one's. I didn't know Uno was with had a lady friend.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes.
No, I had no idea. I had no idea. I'd like
He's
more
got a
on
best
that.
girl.
He's got a best gal.
She's a huge football fan now because of a certain individual being on the TV sometimes.
You?
No, Taylor Swift.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's good.
You.
That maybe because every once in a while they see you. Maybe she liked you. The association. So when they remember, I used to see on the sidelines the boys would get very excited. There's Mr. Z.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe that
we
was
were
it.
we're one of your children's my spirit animal. I mean, we
That's
have
right,
We have
that's
a
true.
kinship.
Yeah, that's true. There certainly was a kinship with that. All right, very good. So I like that. Yeah, that's the Madden part of it's interesting. You know who liked all of the All-Star festivities were my kids. And I was thinking maybe it's for them.
From what I watched, it felt like it was catered towards a younger audience.
Yeah, and like TikTok moments, right?
Yes. Yes. You
That's
know what?
kind of what it is.
It's like George Mirasan once said, "Score one for the kids."
He did score one for the kids. Pretty interesting. We mentioned
You're
the
like, where's that going?
No, I know where it's from. I didn't know until you said it where it was from. We mentioned the Bill O'Brien potentially going back to Boston College. So that's one offensive coordinator who was hired, then not. There was another one over the weekend who was hired, who was not. I draw one conclusion from it. We'll get into it coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be part of the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Join the Next Gen STM presented by Ticketmaster Waitlist. It's your official waitlist of the Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM, the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/nextgenstm to reserve your spots today. Time to go around the league. When we left here on Friday, wasn't Kingsbury the offensive coordinator of the Raiders?
Of the Raiders.
And
yes.
as we
How
do
did
the
he
show
get those
today,
jobs?
he's
good-looking, charismatic.
all those things. We did all that.
We did that. We did that whole thing.
And now he's going to go to the Commies and be the offensive coordinator there.
Yep.
Now there's a lot of the reporting I've seen is like that the contract negotiations broke down between him and the Raiders. Do you buy that, or do you think it's just the fact that Washington's picking second overall? I heard Lincoln Riley over the weekend say, "Boy, Caleb playing for Cliff would really be the perfect thing for everybody." Like, do you think Caleb's going to try and engineer himself to Washington?
I don't know.
It's happened. I mean, the Mannings did it. People have done it.
Chicago's going to take him.
I understand, but what if he says, I'm not going to play there? I won't play for you. And go back to USC and play my last year at USC.
I don't like that.
I don't either. But, like, I don't remember people having a big problem with Eli Manning doing it.
Yeah.
He did it. Now, some of that's they're the Mannings, and so they get away with that type of stuff. But, like, that happened. Said, I'm not playing for the Chargers.
Sure.
So sort it out. And the
Sure.
Chargers actually drafted him.
So does that mean Bieniemy's gone?
Have to be.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's nowhere else.
No. I mean, again, like, Friday, Kingsbury's with the Raiders.
That's right. And then the Raiders got spurned by him and got Luke Getsy from the Bears? How is that a hire?
That's your alternative? Like that guy? I don't know.
It was almost our former coach, I think. I think he was in the mix.
Yeah. So then I wondered, like, Washington picked second, so Kingsbury, maybe he's thinking, like, all right, I can have either Caleb if we engineer that, or I'll get Drake May. So I'm going to get a rookie quarterback to develop, and that'll increase my standing versus the Raiders situation where I don't know who's the quarterback. If I have options, I'll take the one where I get the first-round quarterback who I can grow with, and then perhaps get another shot at it. Getsy, I don't understand. The only thing I could think of is, like, would the Raiders be in pursuit of Fields? And then, in turn, would Fields like Getsy?
Maybe. That would be the only thing that – and we've
right?
heard a lot
this is connecting
the dots.
a lot of dots.
But yeah.
So his offense went from like 28th to 20th.
So it improved.
So they improved, but
they kept Eberflus, which makes
no sense. None. No, I mean that makes no sense at all. So I don't understand this. I don't know how it fell apart. What happened? I was reading about it this morning. I couldn't make a lot of sense on it. The Chargers are hiring former Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman to be their new offensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, they were together in San Francisco to great success. They've been together a lot.
Yeah.
But that his best probably stuff was with either Lamar or with Cap, and that ain't Herbert.
Certainly not. He is an excellent athlete, but obviously it's a pairing that Harbaugh feels very comfortable with. He was offense coordinator 3 years, including their Super Bowl run. But you're right, that was very Colin Kaepernick. Although they were very successful with Alex Smith. Remember at the time when they benched Alex Smith, it was kind of controversial. So maybe
did Alex get hurt first and then Cap played well?
He did, yes. But the game before he got hurt, I think he was something like 20 of 21.
He's always ultra accurate.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, that's a good point, and you'd remember this having grown up where you did in Montana and an ardent 49ers fan.
Ardent.
His Alex Smith, it took a while to go.
Yes.
He really blossomed under Harbaugh and under Roman.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't right away. People thought maybe he was going to be a total bust. And then he came along
and then
quickly and then became very good.
Very good.
By the way, speaking of Harbaugh, an interesting note from Albert Breer within the hour.
All right.
The Seahawks are working on hiring Michigan's Jay Harbaugh as their special teams coordinator. Per sources, rather than join his dad Jim in L.A., Harbaugh will team up with ex-Wolverine staff mate Mike McDonald in Seattle.
I like that for father and son, honestly. Little separations sometimes can be good. That's a lot of time together, so that's probably a win for everybody. Speaking of separation, Patriots defensive coordinator Steve Belichick to sign on with the University of Washington to be a defensive coordinator on Jed Fish's staff. I can't believe that Belichick. I mean, it's a fine job.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Belichick didn't have a bigger call he could make than that one. I would even maybe he has no connection with Jed Fish at all.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
I mean, like, you imagine going from, like, we saw that guy in the field here to, like, now he's going to go recruit kids to University of Washington?
I don't know that he will. I don't know.
That doesn't
about
feel
that.
like a –
He makes some strange faces.
he does. Yes, he does. Anthony Weaver now the Dolphins defensive coordinator as well.
Good job. Congrats for Weaver. Again, that's another loss from the Ravens defensive side.
Yeah, that's true. So McDonald, Weaver, yeah.
Yeah.
Their DB coach,
Their DB coach went where?
Tennessee.
To be the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yep. And then who they promoted their linebacker coach to be their DC?
Correct.
Yeah, so they lost their front and back end coaches and coordinator. So that's pretty stout. That's pretty significant.
All right, let's do this.
This I don't want to even do. This is dumb. This
That's
is
Peter. I love Peter.
There's an
he's-
interesting note.
No, but like Peter King is my first football information as a kid came from reading him in Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
The most consistent. So I used to read Monday Morning Quarterback
and
always.
Dr. Z.
Dr. Z was my other guy. Those were my
Yeah.
guys, Peter King and Dr. Z. That's all you needed. So he compared the 26 start milestones of Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Brock Purdy. And so that's it. I'm trying to breeze through this really quick.
And he acknowledges
The changes in the game.
Yeah.
So he's fair about it.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I was trying to.
But he's like, it was interesting.
So he says, it's certainly an apples to oranges comparison in terms of the style of play and all of it. And, basically, just from a strictly numbers standpoint, Brock Purdy's better than both. Yards per attempt,
Of course.
completion percentage, wins, touchdown to interception, all of it. He's pretty close with Young on touchdown to interception, pretty close to Young on rating. But it's an entirely different sport. It's just like when the NBA right now, there's however many guys averaging between 28 and 35. It's just not how the game was played.
Completely. It is a completely different sport. And I think you need to look at this relative to their peers.
That's it.
Because Joe Montana was doing this in 1980. Completely different.
Right. And yeah, for sure. Even in Young's era with the physicality, now Young's first 4 years his first 4 seasons. So, all right, so it would have been a little of Tampa Bay and then Niners at the end, 91, 92. But he's like a veteran at that point.
Yep.
When he finally gets that job in 1991, in his first 26 starts. So that those are spread out over a 7-year period. But yeah, that's it. Anytime I told that story last week about Beamsy with the LeBron Jordan thing, and I'm like, you can only compare in the era. You can't
Totally.
You can't go from one era to the next. I know that's like an easy sports conversation, but it's really not fair for anybody involved. How are you against your peers?
Exactly.
That's
the barometer.
That's really the only one. Anything beyond that, the games have changed so much.
Too much.
You can't possibly do it. Ken Dorsey with Z coming up. Before we do that, though.
May I?
Yeah.
Don't miss Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for the first time ever Friday, September the 13th at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024 for more information. It's Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for one night only.
It's a hell of a read out of you. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Very happy now for the first time on the program to welcome the new offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, Ken Dorsey. Welcome back. I think we have to start there. Welcome back. How's it when you kind of went through this, you're like, Cleveland?
No.
Obviously, you know it well.
Yeah, no, I obviously know the city well. It's changed so much.
Sure.
It's grown a lot. Downtown is a lot of fun to kind of go down there and explore just how much that's changed. Then my old stopping grounds down here in Berea and Strongsville and all these places. So, and then just walking into the facility, I think the only thing that's the same is the stairway in the front and the door I walk through. Other than that, everything's completely different. So
yeah, this wasn't here.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah, no doubt. It's exciting. It's very exciting. You feel. You really feel a different energy walking into the building, this time around than when I was here the last time. It's a whole different vibe, a whole different energy, and a lot of that's just that's from leadership of
Sure.
From ownership, from the Haslam family to obviously Andrew and Kevin and everybody here. It's a true testament to them, just the culture that they've built here.
And it's a city, and you know this well, that is passion. I know Buffalo. They are very passionate in Buffalo.
No, yeah.
They are extremely passionate here in Cleveland. Does that kind of make it a little more fun when you know you've got a city that is like living and dying in some cases with the football team?
There's no doubt. I mean, that was the most fun about being here. And look, I mean, we had our good and we had our bad, unfortunately, but the best part about being here in the past were the fans and just how great they were and how supportive they were.
Sure.
Coming out to games. And, I was the third guy for a lot of those years, and I was, had to play, my last year here and that stretch of games. And, walking out on that field, like, it was special. Like, it held a place in my heart, and still does, just being able to step out on that field and as a player. And now it's going to be even more special to me as a coach being a part of it.
Did you get a chance to see Thursday night Browns Jets primetime when we clinched the playoffs? Were you able to watch that one home and kind of feel it like that's what this city craves and needs, and an opportunity obviously to do it again this year?
No, I mean the stadium is great. We got a great stadium. It's awesome, beautiful and everything. But that stadium's not the same without the electricity that our fans bring. And that's what you felt in that game. You felt the electricity of, our fans and just how special they make this place and this environment and this city and this organization. It's what drives us to, do everything humanly possible and, the hours that we work and all that stuff. It's like it's driven by the fans and how much we want to bring them a winner.
All right, let's talk a little offensive football. So when I was kind of, asked people, Ken Dorsey, he's great in the spread RPO dual threat quarterback game. Well, guess what? We've got that guy. So that's good. And that's very different than what has been kind of what you call the core bread and butter of Ken. We'll talk about how those match. But what does that mean? Spread RPO dual threat quarterback.
I mean, I think there's obviously things that we can bring over from, whether it's 11 personnel, 12 personnel, spreading guys out, getting guys in space and doing that type of stuff. And I think that's the exciting part to me is that mesh of some of those ideas with what we've done here in the past, and being able to evolve this offense, because it's hard to be just one style all the time. You want to be able to keep a defense off balance by, spreading them out, then getting condensed and running a play action. So at the end of the day, for me personally, like, yes, there's those drop back and spread concepts, but I do also love, getting and run the ball and pounding defenses and doing that and then play actioning off it. I think there can be a great blend of those things and some of those spread RPO, those types of concepts, and really form an identity that guys can get excited about.
It almost feels like it has a potential to be a unique offense in the NFL in the sense that it can blend those things you were just talking about with that baseline that we are so good at of that Shanahan, Kubiak, wide zone, even though I know we run a lot of pin, pull, and power, and we've varied our run game, but using those hard play action back to the defense, but then also incorporating that with where we can be in shotgun and do some of the things that Deshaun has done historically in his career and still be explosive. No
doubt. And I think, those in my past, this past season, those first few games, that first stretch, that blend I thought was good. There were some of those some of those things you're talking about of mixing some personnels and then, under center run game, play action, and then spreading them out and, mixing, some tempo stuff and all those different things. And I think that's what made us, really, really good, in that early stretch of season right there. And, being able to kind of pick that up and continue it with some of the stuff that we already do here. And again, bringing some of those RPOs that just puts the defense in binds and conflicts and spread drop back concepts and whatnot. That's what I'm really excited about. And then not to mention, a guy like Kevin, who's been around the league for so long, and done, he's done a lot of different things too. He's been in, this system. He's been in a North Turner style system. So like some of the things we'll talk about is I think going to blend nicely together.
One of the things that we've been kind of and maybe it's personnel wise or maybe it's just been scheme wise is our shot plays have kind of been dependent on play action. And that's where we're able to really push the ball. Obviously you put on Buffalo, you're able to push the ball down the field regardless of whether there's play action or not. How do you kind of conceptualize or want to integrate maybe some of those concepts that allow us to be vertical and really attack a defense at every blade of grass without having the necessity of it has to come off of a hard play action?
Well, I think the number one thing that you look at is, okay, well, how are we going to protect it? You know what I mean? And we got a great group up front. We got, but we are also playing some good defense, whether it's pressure packages, personnel matchups, whatever that might be. It all starts with the starting point of protecting the quarterback to make sure, you could draw up some of the best concepts on earth, but, we got to make sure to get that done. And with the group of guys we got, those front five guys, that's the exciting part about what they can bring to the table, and
got a good blocking tight end too, the Chief.
No doubt. So, the starting point's there, and then, making sure that, to your point, I think is a great point. You want to be able to attack short, intermediate, and downfield, and not have a defense say, okay, 90% of the time they're throwing this. You want to be able to attack those different areas to now put pressure on them to have to defend the whole field, not vertically and widthwise.
When you think about a guy like Deshaun, who when you kind of watch back in his Hughes stuff, in his rookie year he did some more under center stuff, but for the most part when he's had his success, it's kind of him and shotgun, seeing everything in front of him, as opposed to kind of where you saw Joe Flacco be very comfortable at turning his back to the defense, taking that pitcher, coming back, seeing it, and knowing what he needed to do with the ball. How do you work with a guy to get, number one, better at maybe the back to the defense stuff, but then also say, all right, look, we have somebody who was as elite as there was in this league doing this. How do we, and you mentioned down there, maximize those strengths?
Yeah. Again, I think that's going to be the fun part of developing that balance and working with Deshaun and saying, okay, that communication is huge. What are we comfortable with? What can we get better at? What can we get you comfortable with? And I think those things are big, but his skill set, I think, translates to so many different things, whether it's drop back or play action, whatever it is, but to your point, I think, it's being able to expand and do some of those drop back type things that he's excelled at, will be great for us, because one, we got obviously him, but then two, we've got, weapons on the outside, inside. If they want to get soft and you dump it down to Nick or one of our backs, like they're going to make plays for you in space as well. So we got guys on the outside that can win, tight ends that can win, obviously, David and those guys. So, that's the exciting part about it is not only just one, developing the scheme, but developing the scheme with the weapons that we have and trying to maximize those guys.
When you think of being able to coordinate an offense that involves Nick Chubb, you've been with some good running backs, obviously, but Nick Chubb is elite.
Yes.
When you think about kind of that and the advantage that gives you, because now you have home run capability even on a simple handoff.
Right.
And how that stresses the defense. Is that kind of an exciting thing for you to kind of think about?
Well, there's no doubt, because at the end of the day, defenses, right, they're going to try to load the box and whether or not you're force blocking safeties and doing those different things, then corners or cracker place and all that stuff, right, all those scheme stuff. But when you got a guy like Nick who can, make somebody miss, and do those side, run, like that's when all of a sudden, those 6, 7, 8 yard runs go to explosive runs, or take a 2 or 3 yard run goes to a 6 or 7 yard run, and those types of things. So Obviously, a guy like him is invaluable, and what he brings to the table and what he has brought to the table. And we won't lose sight of that, and we'll make sure that obviously, he's going to be an integral part of what we do.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank
Great
you.
talk with you. We'll get to do it again soon. I know you're very busy, so appreciate the time. And again, congrats and welcome back to Cleveland.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet right after this.
Your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home. Howard Hanna has the answer. Delivering a winning strategy for breaking down the game of real estate. The market leaders in Northeast Ohio. More buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna to be their winning home team. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Mr. Z.
What logo are we working with over here on this jacket?
That's Ohio State Golf Club.
So that is their course, the
Yeah.
scarlet and gray courses. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, they did a good job.
It's a
with
good
that.
logo.
Yeah. And then that one's got the old golden bear on the back.
Oh,
so you
nice.
get the tie-in all the way around.
Yeah, sure.
With that.
Sure.
The Nicholas redid the Scarlet.
Okay.
And
So is it owned by the university?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you are an alumni, you can belong there. And I think you have to be to belong there. But it's the Scarlet. He redid the Scarlet, and they play like Nationwide or whatever it is now.
Yep.
That level.
Corn Ferry.
Whatever it is. They play that there. That's a tough slog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very difficult. And long. Really long. Like a man of your means and abilities would be just fine, but men of mine are not. Have you ever played there in the media out in Gibbe or anything?
I've never played there. My one buddy who's a big golf aficionado, shout out Jeff Steele.
Yep.
He went to Ohio State as well.
Yeah.
From high school, and he's played it.
Yeah,
loves it, and he's a really good golfer.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm good enough for that.
Yeah, it's tough. Really, and it's right in Arlington.
Yeah.
So they have Scioto, and then they have Scarlet and Gray that are right there.
Nice.
In Arlington.
The number of
they also have
private
the indoor
courses
thing there too.
Down there compared to up here. Like we've got some private tracks up here, obviously, but I don't know. Columbus just seems to have a lot more of private than they do public, and
There's
maybe
not
I'm
much,
wrong.
No, there's not. No, I would agree with you that there's more private than like we have the Metro Park system, and then let alone in that there's a ton of public, and then there are a ton of public tracks. There aren't that many down there. Most are clubs, and then they've got 4 of the top 100 courses in the world are in, which makes no sense. Like the only other places like in the northern part of that are like that are like it's like Long Island and Chicago. I think might have 3 or 4.
Yeah, places where you can play golf for about 5 months out of the year if you're lucky.
Right, but for a city like Columbus to have 4 is crazy.
Pretty good.
Yeah, very much is. All right, you got a chance to talk to Ken. I know you talked to him last week before all of this was official as well. Lots to like about the hire, lots to like about him. I think one thing that this group has done, this is Paul and AB and ownership and Kevin and all the big L's. They're collaborative, man. And that's what this is going to be with Ken, and then Tommy Reese is going to be in that mix as well. So, Deuce. So that this will be. I would imagine for Kevin, this might be a little invigorating. To get some new minds, and not that there was anything wrong with the old ones, and they certainly didn't anticipate Bill Callahan's son being a head coach, I don't think, and losing him, or even necessarily all of this. We've talked about AVP, would have liked of him to stay, and then other opportunities present. But I would imagine this is going to be kind of a shot in the arm for everybody.
That's just Kevin and Chad O'Shea returning on the offensive side.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So, yeah, I was really impressed with Ken Dorsey. I would have liked to have talked to him longer. I felt like we were joking afterwards. Like I could talk to you for a half hour, and he's like, "Yeah, that was easy. It was fun." I think he's very smart, and I think his area of expertise fills a blind spot, fills a void in our overall offensive philosophy and setup. Yeah. So, and the only reason it's a void is because we have Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson is more comfortable and has excelled at the highest of levels, doing more of this spread, shotgun, RPO, drop back game. Not to say that he can't be an under the center passer. And by the way, we're 5-1 in the games he started this year. He was very effective. It was not as week in, week out as maybe you had wanted, but you certainly got some very good play culminating in that half against the Baltimore Ravens. But I think it just is going to give him, Ken Dorsey is going to provide that area, and the experiences with Cam, the experiences with Josh Allen, and the ability to craft things that take advantages of his strengths and his skill sets. And I think Kevin is an unbelievable offensive coordinator, and Kevin, that's why he became a head coach. I think he's been a great head coach as well, likely to win Coach of the Year for the second time in 4 seasons. If not, at least he's won it once and is a finalist another time. I think that Ken Dorsey's a very good hire and fits kind of that culture of calm, except obviously we know he's a fiery competitor, but we know Kevin is as well.
Yeah.
So is AB, so is Depot. I like it. We'll see. This is, again, with this football team, this makes sense on paper because Dorsey, number one, has been successful. He's worked with great quarterbacks who have played their best under him. Cam Newton's MVP season. Josh Allen set a bunch of records last year for the Buffalo Bills, or now 2 years ago for them since their season's also over. It just fits what you were looking for and how to continue to move forward, how to diversify your attack, and how to do the most important thing, right, which is cater a great deal of what you do to Deshaun Watson. That's job one. That's job 1 through 99 is to get Deshaun Watson to play at the level we have seen him play, briefly at times with us, but over the course of seasons in Houston.
It's interesting. You what Deshaun has been here statistically is it's not even quite what he was as a rookie. From a percentage standpoint, now there's been injuries, banged up, all of those things have happened. But like, just so the folks understand, at the guy you're acquiring, the last time he played that you acquired rather, the last time he played a 16-game season, he completed 70% of his passes, 9 yards an attempt.
It was
last time out. He led the league in passing yards, yet it led the league in yards per attempt and yards per completion. He was a Pro Bowler. His quarterback rating was 112.4. So that's what he was the last time.
3 straight Pro Bowls.
And 3 straight Pro Bowls. That's exactly right.
When we acquired him, he was historically in completion percentage, yards per attempt, and quarterback rating.
Yeah.
He was number 1 in a couple of those. He was top 3 in all 3 ever, period.
Yeah. So you're talking. So you missed the whole year. His 26 year 2021 is year 26 age year. He misses that in now 12 starts for us. The record's pretty good. It's 8-4, which is very nice. The completion percentage mixed together is around 60. The yards per attempt is 6.5. It was 6.5 both years. Both of those are significantly lower than what he is normally used to. His rating is over the 2 years. His rating is about 82. Is about what the rating is. The lowest rating he has had previously in his career was 98. That's when he was 24. So this operation now. And now you've got a bunch of people who have seen a bunch of good quarterback play, and now Deshaun, coming off an injury, albeit, around, and let's get this thing sorted out, and because nobody wants to get back to playing elite football more than him, and hopefully the combination of Ken and Kevin, obviously, and even Tommy as passing game coordinator, like all of those people can check into it. The other thing that we've been. Unfortunately, and this has nothing to do with Deshaun, we're kind of a one-read, open throw-it team, and we need to diversify that. And we've got to have more people get involved, and it was something that didn't really happen this year. Elijah Moore, when Amari was out, was sensational, but we weren't getting that week in and week out. And we need to be a little bit more varied. And so that's what I think all of this will be. And I imagine that Kevin, this is, as a guy who thrives on enthusiasm, an idea man, my hunch is that he enjoys it a great deal, this learning and hearing from new ideas and voices.
There's no doubt he is going to enjoy this a great deal. I think that is 100%. And you've got guys who are coming. Reese played quarterback. Now you have, again, AVP had played quarterback. TC had played quarterback college. You got a guy who played quarterback in Notre Dame and just was an OC at Alabama under Saban.
Yeah.
You have to imagine that's going to be pretty good. You got Ken Dorsey, who played quarterback, was really one of the most successful college quarterbacks ever.
For sure.
Winning-wise.
Yeah.
He played in the NFL.
Yeah, he's this close to winning back-to-back national titles.
And now has been with quarterbacks who have been very successful in the NFL. And so that's what this is all about, is getting our quarterback to be the player that you described and that we've seen glimpses of second half against Tennessee, Arizona game, second half against Baltimore. We've seen that, but we're talking about a season.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you saw from the teams that made the Final Eight, you need your quarterback to stay healthy all year if you want to be in the Final Eight in the NFL. You can basically, as soon as your quarterback misses significant time or you're playing 3, 4, 5, you can go ahead and cross those teams off the list from go ahead and winning the Super Bowl. But that's what you need.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Time for the Griff Fact of the Day. You ready?
Fact of the day, fact of the day, fact of the day.
Oh, wait. No.
Fact of the day, fact of the day, fact of the day. It's the Griff Fact of the Day.
Oh!
Yes.
All right. Oh,
Did you do that, Uno?
I did.
That's
take a
great.
bow, Uno.
Get
Uno Cam up there and take a bow.
Take a bow, Uno. Good job out of you.
Yeah, stand up and take a bow.
That's fine.
No, Larry, no,
that's
it's a BS bow.
It's half bow.
Yeah, half bow.
A Micah Parsons bow. Sally.
Micah Parsons bow, says Gibby from the cheap seats. All right, give us the Griff Fact of the Day. That's a great open. Good job out of you.
No player drafted from the University of Alabama, has ever scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, despite having 68 active players in the league and all the skill players that they've put in. So the qualifications for that are the NFL credits the player who crossed the end zone with the ball as scoring the touchdown. So passing touchdowns do not count.
I was going to say, star Namath Stabler.
Namath, actually, I don't think threw for one in that Super Bowl.
He didn't throw for one?
No, I think I looked it up.
Wow.
I checked all of those guys to make sure.
Kenny Stabler, but that would have been
Bart
throw.
and Stabler both threw.
Did not.
But they didn't run.
Okay.
So the closest was last year. Devontae Smith caught it and was ruled out at the 2-yard line on a 45-yard catch. But
Jeez.
no Alabama players ever gotten in the end zone.
Well, I'm pretty sure. Can any of you tell me the first Alabama player to win the Heisman? The first Alabama Heisman Trophy winner. We're all on the subject of Alabama.
No. It's got to be old, I would think.
Gibbe?
I have no idea. It's probably
Mark Ingram.
Nailed it. Next level's next.
That was about
did you
to
have
be
it
my
up?
guess.
No, but it doesn't say it on there. I was looking to see. I was like, I
didn't
feel like he didn't
score-
score a touchdown in any of the Super Bowl. It doesn't say that on here. But
Yeah.
I was literally looking at Mark Ingram.
To see if he had scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, but the point is they were not an outfit that had prolific skill position players. They just weren't.
But when you think of the guys that have come out of there, the running backs.
But that's all. They've won a ton since because Ingram won it, Henry won it, Devonta Smith won it, Bryce Young won it. I mean, they've had.
Mac Jones was a finalist.
Mac was
recently.
a finalist. There's at least 4 winners in the last 15 years for them. Najee was a finalist. But they don't have, like their way back guys, they don't have the skill position guys. That's not how they won it.
Sean Alexander had to have played in a Super Bowl. He never scored in a Super Bowl?
He didn't score in that Seahawks Super Bowl?
I guess not. I was looking up Eddie Lacy. I thought maybe might have had a shot with Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. I think he came after. Oh, you're doing the running backs. You're trying to find somebody else who scored a touchdown who played for Alabama in the last 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying here.
I was doing the total Alabama Heisman guys that I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm looking for a Super Bowl here. So that means also that nobody from Alabama ever got a pick six or a sack strip fumble recovered in the end zone.
Nope. And we were wondering this year. There's no Alabama players on either roster, according to Griff.
That almost seems impossible. That's more impossible to me.
And if there is, they must be
way down the depth chart.
Yeah,
right?
or like a
practice
offensive guard who's probably not going to catch a touchdown, but I guess could. But
that's wild.
Off of the top of my head, the skill guys and the DBs for both teams couldn't think of an Alabama player.
So Sean Alexander in his one Super Bowl had 20 carries for 95 yards, no touchdowns in that game against Pittsburgh. That was the Willie Parker touchdown run.
Jeez. That's wild.
Creed Humphrey, he went to Alabama, didn't he?
Oklahoma. I thought Alabama, too. I had to double-check it. I thought for sure he was Alabama, but he's Oklahoma.
Okay.
There you go. All right, that's a hell of a Griff. That's a great Griff fact today.
How did we come across this?
He just found it. His words.
I just found it. What do you want? What more do you need other than I just found it?
There's been a few that we'll have later in the week that Griff has just showed me that he's just randomly come across on Twitter or on TikTok that are just great. And I have no idea where they came from initially.
It's so good.
That's fantastic. Excellent effort out of everyone involved in the Griff fact of the day. Peter King's all-time 53-man roster for the players he has covered in the Super Bowls coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, there's your new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, on the prospective offensive line hire, which will now have to happen now that Bill Callahan is headed to Tennessee to man that outfit. Don't miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for the first time ever. It's Friday, September 13th at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024 for more information. It's Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for one night only. All right, Peter King. 40 years on the NFL beat.
This says
we've had him on. I adore him. He's great. Incredible amount of knowledge.
If you said to me, I need your all-time 53.
Yeah.
In the time you've been covering the league.
And I came back to you with a 53 that had 21 offensive players and 19 defensive players.
Yeah. That would be problematic, I would say. Yeah.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? Well, I'll tell you what.
He's got 5 guys that are like core special teams players on this roster. Those guys have to come from being your corners and running backs and receivers.
You're taking umbrage with the 53.
The makeup of
it.
It's
not a realistic
It's not realistic. You covered the NFL for 40 years. You put together the best 53 you can. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or at least put those people in their positions. But, like, you're not going to have – Rod Woodson is not going to be on the team, who could play corner, could play safety. I'm sure he could have played special teams.
Yeah.
He could have done anything you want. Or some of the linebackers that are not on this football team because there aren't – you got Junior Seau, Ray Lewis. Let's throw Patrick Willis on this team. Why not?
Yeah.
He can play some special teams for you. Instead, we need a guy. There are only 3 corners on this roster.
Right.
Like what? There are 4 quarterbacks and 3 corners. What are we doing? We need Raina Thompson's got to be on this team.
Here's what I think.
Who's Raina Thompson?
This is what I think. I think he's trying to do 2 things. Number one, he's got 4 quarterbacks because he knows he's going to have to talk to these 4 people for the rest of his life.
That's
and he
fine
wants to
because
keep
this
talking
team's
to them.
so good.
Yeah, so his quarterbacks are Brady, Montana, Manning, and Mahomes are the 4 quarterbacks. So those are, and that's fine. That would be mine. I mean, he's been covering the league my whole life, so that would be mine. Would be those 4.
Raina Thompson, who we put on this team,
We're not to that position.
was a 9th round pick of the Miami Dolphins. And he's made 1 Pro Bowl.
This is what I think this is about. So I think he tried to serve 2 masters here. He tried to serve the quarterback master at the top.
Fine.
And then he wanted to show I paid attention to guys who were getting it done on special teams. So in other words, here are the deep cuts. And so that's what I think he tried to do with the special teams guys. Because he's got 4 of them. Like Tasker, Thompson.
5 of them.
Slater. I mean, like, and those we've heard of all those guys, but it's like that's not how you would do. So that's what I think he was trying to do. Go ahead.
If I had to put together a special teams unit that had Deion Sanders as a gunner or a punt returner, that had Patrick Willis and Junior Seau and Teddy Bruschi running down on coverage teams, those guys wouldn't have jobs. Correct. The Raina Thompsons of the world. They're only doing that because the stars can't also play all the special teams. But on an ultimate team, give me the best players.
Yes.
You're excluding gold jacket Hall of Famers from this team who are quite versatile. Rod Woodson would be the first one that jumps to mind. At the expense of nonsense.
Yes.
Devin Hester is your returner. Enough said. We're good.
Yep. You set.
We'll find people who can block for him. Let's get Shannon. You don't think Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez could be back there? Or Gronk would be back there blocking on these things? We'd be just fine.
Yeah, so the construction of it doesn't make
it's
a whole
absurd.
lot of sense.
Well, and
so he's got 4 quarterbacks.
This guy who covered like this is crazy.
So he's got Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Derrick Henry as his running backs. Numbers 4 and 5 were Terrell Davis and Adrian Peterson were 4 and 5 on that list in the 40 years.
Okay.
Barry, LT, and Henry.
No Emmitt Smith.
No.
Which is, I mean, look, Derrick Henry, and I don't know if he gets into what I was trying to do, the elusive is Barry, the dual threat. I think what's outrageous to me is there isn't even not a mention of a man named Marshall Faulk. Not even a mention.
He was the one I thought of as if I could pick up anybody to play running back right now on a roster, Marshall Faulk would be the answer to that.
Like, I understand having Derrick Henry as your hammer, Barry Sanders, and then I guess LaDainian's the dual threat. I would still rather have Marshall. I mean, LaDainian's amazing.
Yeah.
He's pretty amazing.
But he does not mention it.
We'll do a straw poll here.
Yep.
Me, you, and Gibbe. Unless Una, would you say that you're well versed in Adrian Peterson and Derrick Henry?
Yes.
Okay, Griff as well.
He said kind of.
All right. Peak of their powers, the best version of themselves. Peterson
Adrian
is way
Peterson.
better than Derrick Henry.
The first thing I said when I read this list was, how do you put Derrick Henry over Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, I would have AD over him.
And I think people also forget a little bit just how dominant Terrell Davis was in his day.
Yeah, I mean, he's on his list, though, right? Oh, no, he's number 4 on the outside.
He didn't make the team.
Yeah. So I think Falk, Davis. I'd probably take Falk, Davis, and Peterson over Henry.
Same.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis had 3 straight years where he was first, second, or third in the MVP balloting.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 Super Bowls.
Was he MVP at one of those Super Bowls too, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm said it. It feels like I don't know who else they would give it to. He also picks a fullback.
That's the problem.
Here we go. Another factoid for you.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's never been top 8 in the MVP voting ever.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think he tried too hard on this a little bit. He's got Maurice Carthon at fullback. I don't know why you need a fullback in today's day and age. So I think he did a couple. I think this and then the mention at tight end are both from his time at Newsday. He reveres those Giants teams. Reveres the Parcells Giants. Like him writing. I'm guessing that him writing about those Giants got him the gig at SI. So he has such loyalty to Maurice Carthon and then Mark Bavaro, who he's got not on the team, but just on the outside looking in at tight end.
I mean, I would think, wouldn't you think if you were going fullback from the time that he covered?
So he doesn't have, in tight end, he doesn't have Sharp.
No.
He doesn't have Gonzalez.
No.
He doesn't have, Chargers?
He only has 2 on the
Chargers. Gates.
He only has 2 of them on the roster.
His number 3 is Bavaro.
His number 3 is Bavaro.
Yeah. He went present day over the Sharp.
And it
Gonzalez
sounds like
crew
Jason
and ahead of
Witten was number 4 for him.
It does, yeah. So he's got Gronk and Kelsey, which is fine, but like to not have those guys, like to have Mark Bavaro third is pretty wild. There's no reference as to why Bavaro's third. I think he just likes him.
In 1986, Bavaro had 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's hard to do the stats thing, but like even still, like you
1,000 yards. I was saying that
that's
as
big.
the 1980s.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that was
a big
big
deal.
Yeah. The tackles are Munoz and Ogden. Joe Thomas is on there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. The Hoff.
The Hoff makes it.
Fullback.
He always had Hoff on his first team All-Pro. Always.
Shouldn't fullback? I mean, you could maybe make the case for Juszczyk, or like a Tony Richardson from Kansas City, like Maurice Carthon. And maybe I'm wrong about this. I'm guessing the over/under on Pro Bowls for Maurice Carthon is, I'm going to set it at 1.5, and I'm going to take the under. I'd be right. 0.
0, yeah.
0 Pro Bowls, 0 All Pros.
Even Rathman.
What are
the
we
great
doing?
Tommy Rathman.
Tommy Rathman.
Yeah. Guard Russ Grimm, Larry Allen, and Jahari Evans are the guards on that one. The center is Jason Kelsey, so he makes that.
What, we have 7 guys on our offensive line.
7 guys. Good. Hope nobody gets hurt. We got a battle. Yeah, he probably should have made it like an actual roster. Would have been the better. Maybe we'll do that. Make an actual roster.
All right, we'll use the same parameters that he did.
Yeah.
So from 1986, basically.
Yeah.
Through.
Right. Like a legitimate one, not one that has that where you have 19 guys on the total defense.
No,
and
it's going to be. This is what we're going to
quarterbacks.
have: either 24, 26, and 3, or
Yeah.
we're going to have 25, 25, and 3.
Right. Correct. And so those last decisions will be big ones. Receiver, he's got Rice, Random Moss, Hines Ward.
Hines
He
Ward.
put Hines Ward in here.
Hines Ward.
Ward here because he's the best blocking wide receiver I've ever seen and caught 1,000 passes. I loved his unselfishness.
Cheater.
Hines Ward. Hines Ward. Look at who you're passing over that time frame. I mean, my God.
By the way, and I'll even just, if we're going, like, he didn't even make a mention of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey probably has to be mentioned.
Hines Ward's on the roster at receiver, Coach.
Get him out of here.
Hit the bricks.
Tyreek Hill.
The only thing about McCaffrey is until he went to San Francisco, like he was a good
Careful.
running back. He was an upper level running back.
Careful.
He was not a great running back. At Carolina.
He actually was when he
What
was
are
healthy,
you
Gibby. He was.
Oh, Gibby.
You're not going to want it. You're not going to
Gibby. No,
I might
he's
be
gonna.
willing to
No,
die
he's
on
gonna
this
come
hill.
in here.
I
Come
think,
here.
I think a guess is
This
He
is-
couldn't stay healthy.
This
either.
is Prisco. This is
a trial of Prisco.
This is Prisco all over again. All right, Gibby. Here you go.
Don't you shake your head at me, Griff, or today will be your last day.
2019, 2019 with the Carolina Panthers. He did something that had only been done twice before in NFL history, once by Roger Craig and once by Marshall Faulk.
Yep.
1,387 yards and 15 touchdowns rushing, 4.8 a carry. He also caught 116 balls for 1,005 yards, 4 touchdowns. He led the NFL with 2,392 total yards and 19.
Because Shanahan was on the hot seat.
Now you're changing. That's Pedro.
Wow.
He just did a
Just a
Pedro
fl-
right
he is.
there.
I've already
On to
hired him.
next.
I've already hired him.
You already know what it's like.
Yeah, unbelievable.
All right, we got to fly through this. His defensive ends are Bruce Smith, Reggie White.
Well, we
and
can.
Michael
There's 12
Strahan.
people on defense.
Yeah,
there's
there's
literally
nobody there.
19.
The tackles are Randall, Aaron Donald, and Cortez Kennedy are the names there. His hybrid, so he's got J.J. Watt as the hybrid here. Fair. Edge rush. Now, well, wait a second. Hybrid
I don't
and edge rush.
understand.
He doesn't even know what I'm telling you, if you
J.J.
said to
Watt
somebody,
is not a hybrid.
This was produced by the person who's been considered the foremost scribe on the National Football League, and he has a roster that makes no sense.
He's got 19 guys on the defense. So he's got Von Miller there. So by the way, Von Miller and Lawrence Taylor are the same guy.
They're edge rushers.
They're edge rushers.
Derek Brooks and Lawrence Taylor are not the same guy.
They're not.
No.
Derek Brooks is not that.
Derek
No.
Brooks is a will linebacker.
Correct. Yeah. Very different. Inside linebackers, Sayal Lewis, Teddy Bruschi, more than Wagner.
More than Pat Willis?
I mean, Bobby Wagner's
Wagner?
like 8-time All-Pro.
Yes, it's got
At this point.
Our
Wagner's gotta be
team.
that guy.
Let me tell you something. Our team is going to wipe the floor with his team.
I feel like you're on.
And we're
going
to go fast. They're going to be saying, "Oh, can we have a sub?" Nope. Only 3 corners. Sorry.
when we play tempo.
Well, yeah, we're going tempo. Oh, you want to get a breather? Sorry. There's nobody there.
Sorry.
But you're going to have great special teams, guys.
some guys who
Raina
can cover.
Thompson. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Terrified.
Deion Sanders, Richard Sherman, Darrell Green are his 3 corners.
Teddy Bruschi's made 1 Pro Bowl, 0 All-Pros. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What is this?
What are we talking about? Ed Reed and Palomala are the
Okay.
safeties along with Tyrann Matthew.
I feel like that's
pretty-
almost a little ambitious for the Honey Badger over
That's
a
quite-
Rod Woodson.
Yeah, that is. And then he's got
Where's
Vinatieri.
Chucky Wood?
No mention. Vinatieri, Leckler. He was MVP.
We're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill this team.
We're gonna smoke.
We're
Then
gonna
he's
be like
got
the
5
Kings.
special team players.
The Kings is the Kings. That's what we're gonna say.
Tasker, Matthew Slater, Raina Thompson, Brian Mitchell, David Tyree. Those are the others. Yeah, this is gonna go well. And then Hester is his one returner.
Yes.
So,
Way.
okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Correct.
So his 5 bench guys are James Harrison, Chris Hogan.
Excuse me.
Mark Bavaro, Christian McCaffrey, and Michael Irvin.
Did we have Chris Hogan?
The hell is Chris Hogan doing?
Was Chris Hogan a Brown?
I don't know. What are we doing with Chris Hogan?
Kevin
What's he going to
Hogan.
do?
No, I don't think we had Chris.
I think we might have had Chris.
I don't understand this.
We had Kevin Hogan on our team.
Correct.
I don't know what Chris Hogan's doing on an all 40-year NFL team. Yeah, we'll wipe the floor with him. We might do that tomorrow.
We have to. This is outrageous.
It is outrageous. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, there you go. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. We'll put our offense and our defense together.
We're going to smoke this team.
Well, yeah. We are. The proper
He
makeup
took
of
Chris
the roster.
Hogan over Larry Fitzgerald,
That's right.
amongst many, many others.
T.O. Marvin Harrison.
30.
Tyreek Hill.
No, Hill's on it. Hill is
Hill
on
is in the
list.
he's on the team?
He was on the original part of it, yeah.
Well, that's a good pick.
There's a lot of gold jackets, though, that were skipped over in the process. And I, like you, I think Rod Woodson can run down some punts.
20.
Hines,
We'll get into that tomorrow.
Oh,
the next
man.
level is coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.